Welcome back YouTube, we have Ahmed again from In-Depth Tech Reviews, and here's the video you asked for, another camera comparison between the Galaxy S20 Ultra, the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the Pixel 4 XL. The last comparison was for the Galaxy S20 Plus and I had a lot of contradicting comments. Some people thought that this is a bad idea to compare the camera of display units as things will be better after the release. Others did like the comparison and some requested the same comparison for the S20 Ultra. So I asked for your opinion and I got 540 responses with 57% interested in the same comparison for the S20 Ultra, 25% also interested but they will also wait for another comparison after the release of the devices, and 18% will prefer to wait for the commercial units. So the majority requested the same comparison and I decided to go for it. So let's check how each camera will perform, but before getting started, let's make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified every time I post a new video. So let's jump in. Here is the first image, and this image is taken with the 108 megapixel sensor of the S20 Ultra. The image size is 26.6 megabytes, which is a big number, so let's see how this will impact the quality. When you look at the walls, the Pixel 4 XL image is the warmest, followed by the Ultra, and the iPhone's image is the coolest. When you look at the ceiling, the S20 Ultra has the most saturated colors, followed by the Pixel, and the iPhone has the least saturated colors. When it comes to exposure, the S20 Ultra has the highest exposure, while the Pixel and the iPhone are almost the same, so the Ultra is pushing everything to produce the most eye-catchy image. So let's zoom in to check the details of the 108 megapixel sensor in the Ultra versus the 12 megapixel sensors of the other two phones. The S20 Ultra has the sharpest image and the text looks more detailed. The Pixel also shows some details in text, but not as detailed as the Ultra, while the iPhone softened the image to reduce noise, but with loss of detail, so the text looks like straight lines. But the sharper the image, the more noise and artifacts you get, and that's why the iPhone has the least amount of noise. So overall, the iPhone has the most accurate colors with the least amount of noise and details. The Ultra has the most detailed image with saturated colors and high exposure, and the Pixel has the warmest image, slightly saturated colors and more details than the iPhone. So it's hard for me to pick one, so I will keep the choice for you. In the second image, the S20 Ultra again has the highest exposure with the most saturated colors, but the colors are inaccurate and it's obvious if you look at the floor and the ceiling. While the iPhone and the Pixel produced more accurate colors with less saturation and balanced exposure, so I don't like the overall look of the S20 Ultra and I would rather go for the iPhone or the Pixel. When it comes to the details, the S20 Ultra is definitely the winner. The Pixel sharpened the image to show more details, but it's the most noisy image, while the iPhone softened the image to reduce noise, but with the least amount of detail. So overall, I do like the fact that the S20 Ultra has more details due to its bigger sensor, but I really don't like the colors reproduction. So my first choice here will be the Pixel because it has deeper blacks than the other two phones, more accurate colors than the S20 Plus, balanced exposure and more details than the iPhone. And my second choice will be the iPhone for its accurate colors and less noise. And the S20 Ultra comes third because it's only better than the other two phones in detail. Here is the final image before jumping to the next category, and again the same trend of the S20 Ultra. More saturated colors and high exposure. The colors is still inaccurate, but in this image they are better than the previous one. Also, the S20 Ultra has the coolest white balance. The Pixel and the iPhone look very similar in exposure and white balance, while the colors of the Pixel image are more saturated than the iPhone, but not as much as the Ultra. When it comes to details, the Pixel shows the most detailed plants, which is a shocking result because it's even more detailed than the 108 megapixel sensor of the S20 Ultra. And of course more detailed than the iPhone as usual, however there are other parts the Ultra shows more details than the other two phones. So overall the image of the S20 Ultra is very bright and saturated, so it can easily catch your eyes. But when you look at it for a few seconds, you will feel it's unnatural, which is not my favorite. The Pixel's image look very similar to the iPhone, but with more details and the slightly saturated colors, And if I'm gonna pick a winner, that will be the Pixel followed by the iPhone, and the S20 Ultra comes third. So overall, if you prefer the oversaturated colors and the eye-catchy images, sacrificing the accuracy, the S20 Ultra will be your choice. Also, the Ultra will give you more details because of its bigger sensor. If the S20 Ultra image processing is not your favorite, it's better to go for the Pixel or the iPhone because they have better image processing, in my opinion. But of course, they have differences. The Pixel has more saturated colors than the iPhone and more details, while the iPhone produces more accurate colors than the Pixel, so it depends on your personal taste here. Now let's check the portraits. The iPhone has the warmest image, the Pixel is the coolest, and the Ultra is somewhere in between. The iPhone this time has the most saturated colors, followed by the Ultra, and the Pixel is the least saturated. When it comes to subject isolation, the iPhone was the worst. It produced unusable image because it messed up the top half of the phone, while the Pixel and the Ultra was a lot better. So overall, I prefer the overall look of the S20 Ultra this time because the Pixel image looks washed out and the iPhone missed a big part of the subject. Now let's check the selfie portraits. When it comes to subject isolation, the Ultra missed a bigger area from my hair, while the iPhone and the Pixel did better. When it comes to skin tone, the Pixel has the most accurate skin tone. The Ultra softened my skin and removed all the details even after turning off the beauty mode, producing unnatural image. And the iPhone's image looks dull and washed out, but the skin looks more natural than the Ultra. When it comes to details, the Pixel also has the most detailed image, followed by the iPhone, and the Ultra comes third, and that's because the Ultra softened everything in the image. Let's move on to the zoom, and here I used the Ultra 5x telephoto lens and matched that on the iPhone and the Pixel. The S20 Ultra image is too warm with washed out colors, which I don't like at all. Also, the Pixel's image is washed out, while the iPhone colors and white balance are on point. When it comes to details, the iPhone shows the highest amount of detail on the table, followed by the Pixel, and the Ultra softened the image so there is no detail. However, when I zoom in on the text, the Ultra is the most readable, followed by the iPhone, and the Pixel is the worst, so the iPhone is the winner because the shot looked a lot better than the other two phones, followed by the Ultra, and the Pixel comes third. Here is another image, and here I didn't like the colors reproduction of the Ultra as usual. However, it produced the most detailed image, followed by the Pixel, and the iPhone comes third. So this time I might go for the Pixel due to its better colors and at the same time preserving decent amount of details. And my second choice will be the Ultra because it has the most detailed image, while the iPhone comes third because of the low amount of details. Now let's play with the 100x zoom, and this is something that you can't get with the other two phones. So this crazy amount of zoom can allow you to zoom from this point all the way to this point. And the quality of zoom is acceptable considering that you are zooming 100 times. I'm sure that the results will be better in direct sunlight. So let me show you another example. Here I can also see a good amount of detail, but the question is, if I have this phone with me, am I going to use 100x zoom, or this is just a gimmick? So please let me know your opinions in the comments below. Finally, let me show you the 8K video sample from the S20 Ultra. The S20 Ultra 8K video looks smoother and steadier than the S20 Plus. Also, the super steady feature is still not supported in the Ultra while recording 8K videos, same as the S20 Plus. So I recommend using it with a tripod or a gimbal. So here I'm done with my comparison, and overall the S20 Ultra is definitely better than the S20 Plus when it comes to the camera, but I still don't like how Samsung process images, regardless how big is the sensor. In my opinion, their way of processing ruins the overall look of the images. However, there are a lot of people that like these punchy looking photos with saturated colors and high exposure. Also, paying $1,400 to get gimmicky features like the 8K video recording and 100x zoom that you might use once is unfair for me. So please let me know what do you think in the comments below. So I hope you like my video, and if you do, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. Thank you for watching.